The world doesn't wait for you to feel ready. It doesn't send you an invitation. It doesn't roll out a velvet carpet and whisper, "Now is your time." No, the world yields to the one who walks like he owns it before he ever holds the deed. The universe makes room for the person who behaves as though they belong long before they have a title, the wealth, or the recognition. Winners are not born. They're not handed the crown. They act their way into becoming. They carry the energy of the outcome long before it manifests in reality. They do not wait for the proof. They create the proof through presence, poise, and relentless persistence. They speak victory over their lives. They dress like their destiny, and they carry themselves with the dignity of someone who has already paid the price, even if they're still in the furnace. Because everything starts in how you see yourself, and not just in the mirror, but in the moments when no one is watching. It starts in how you carry your shoulders, how you walk into a room, how you answer when someone asks, "What do you do?" It starts in your tone, your stride, your eye contact. Winners don't hope to be winners, decide to be. Long before the scoreboard reflects it. Long before the applause confirms it. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. You're not faking it, you're forecasting it. You're stepping into the role your spirit already knows belongs to you. The future version of you is watching, and it's asking, will you behave like me now, or will you keep shrinking to your history? Most people are waiting for permission. Champions write their own license. They become before they arrive. Mindset first. Because your outer world will never exceed your inner game. You cannot out-earn your self-image. You cannot outperform your belief. You cannot build a mansion with the blueprint of a shack. The problem isn't your lack of talent, it's your lack of mental rehearsal. You've been rehearsing the wrong part. You've been casting yourself as the underdog when you were born to be the hero. Act like it, speak like it, think like it. Change your self-conversation, and the world will start speaking to you differently. Winners do not gossip, they do not complain, they do not broadcast weakness. They don't say, "I'm trying." They say, "I'm becoming." They don't say, "One day I'll be." They say, "I am the kind of person who..." Winners have a vocabulary of victory. And they speak life, especially when life gets dark. Speak as if your voice is commanding the universe, not to beg, not to plead, but to affirm what is already yours in seed form. Because everything you want is already here, it's just buried. And your words are the shovel. What you plant in your mouth grows in your life. Speak strength, and strength shows up. Speak doubt, and you dig your own grave. You are sowing with every sentence. So ask yourself, are you planting weeds or are you planting oaks? The way you speak about yourself reveals what you believe is possible. You don't need more motivation. You need a new internal script. Rewrite it. Rehearse it. Walk through your day as though the film crew is already rolling. Act like the person you intend to become, and the world will eventually adjust its lens to match the frame you've chosen. Belief is not magic. Belief is muscle, and muscle grows through resistance. Every time you choose to believe in yourself, especially in the absence of evidence, you are lifting something invisible, and that invisible becomes visible through repetition. Winners keep showing up not because it's easy, but because quitting doesn't fit their character. It's beneath their future. Clarity is power. Vague goals produce vague lives. If you don't know what winning looks like, you'll never know if you're getting closer. You'll chase everything and commit to nothing. You'll stay busy and call it progress. But true winners know what the finish line looks like. They can describe it, feel it, smell it. They don't just visualize success, they emotionalize it. They feel it in their gut before it ever touches their hands. And they don't just dream in silence. They align their life to match that dream. Their schedule reflects their goals. Their habits match their identity. They don't spend time, they invest it. Every hour has a return. Every conversation has purpose. Every setback is seen as a teacher, not a threat. That's how winners live. Strategic, intentional, aligned. You must become so rooted in your vision that even storms can't shake you. Discipline is not punishment, it's protection. It's the guardrail between who you are and who you refuse to be anymore. It's the bridge between now and next, and no one can build that bridge for you. You build it brick by brick, choice by choice, in silence, in solitude, when no one claps and nothing seems to change. Discipline isn't about grinding harder. It's about choosing better. It's about saying no to what feels good now for what will feel incredible later. It's about remembering that short-term pleasure often costs long-term progress. And the real win is not in achieving, it's in becoming. Because when you become the kind of person who wins, you attract the win naturally. You don't chase success, you embody it. But none of this works without action. Belief without behavior is empty. You can't journal your way to success. You must move. Winners don't wait for motivation, they create momentum. They act in the face of fear. They take the meeting, make the call, start the project, write the page, show up at the gym. Action is the cure for doubt. Action is how you tell the world and yourself that you mean it. And when things go wrong, as they will, winners don't collapse. They adapt. They don't curse the season, they learn from it. They don't wait for the winds to shift, they adjust their sails. Adaptability is the superpower of the future. Because the world is not slowing down. It's not getting easier. But the person who can bend without breaking, who can pivot without panic, that's the one who always finds a way. Resilience isn't just about endurance, it's about evolving. It's the quiet decision to rise when no one's watching. It's the moment you whisper to yourself, not today, when every part of you wants to fold. It's not glamorous. It's not Instagram worthy, but it's real. And it's the difference between those who talk and those who transcend. And through it all, gratitude, not the soft, shallow kind that posts about blessings, the deep, unshakable kind that sees every moment as a gift. Winners don't wait for perfect days to be grateful. They mine gold from the rubble. They find beauty in the burn. Gratitude is not just an emotion, it's a strategy. It keeps you grounded when you rise and whole when you fall. Because learning never stops. Winners are always students. They study their setbacks, take notes on their mistakes, and humble themselves before wisdom. They are not afraid to say, I don't know, but they are relentless in finding out. They grow through curiosity, not comfort, and they know that wisdom doesn't shout, it whispers, and only the disciplined can hear it. So if you want to win, act like it now, not someday, now. Dress for the future. Speak like the victory is already yours. Walk like the doors are already opening. Be bold in your becoming. The world mirrors your energy, and your reflection is waiting to change. Because the universe doesn't respond to hesitation. It responds to clarity, conviction, certainty. The soil of life is neutral. It grows whatever seed you plant. It doesn't ask if you meant to sow doubt, fear, mediocrity. It simply multiplies what you water, and your behavior is the water. Every decision is a drop. Every choice is a vote. Every action says, I believe this is who I am. So what are you broadcasting? Because energy cannot lie. You may smile for the camera, but your life echoes what your soul truly believes. Winners do not fake excellence. They align with it. They rehearse greatness in the dark, so that when the lights come on, it feels like home. They're not surprised by success. They're familiar with it. They've lived it internally 1,000 times before it ever arrived in their bank account or their bio. That's why your environment matters, because your surroundings are either reinforcing your future or chaining you to your past. Winners curate their circle. They protect their peace. They eliminate noise. Not everyone can go where you're going. Not everyone should. You're not being rude, you're being responsible. If someone is draining your focus, they are taxing your destiny. You don't need their permission to choose better. And that includes what you consume. Your inputs are shaping your identity. The podcasts, the conversations, the scrolling, it's all programming your reality. If you feed your mind junk, don't be shocked when your life feels cluttered. Winners are conscious curators. They filter what gets access to their mental real estate. They understand that thoughts are seed sand. What gets planted gets rooted. So guard your gates, your eyes, your ears, your tongue. Speak only what uplifts, what builds, what aligns. Never speak defeat over your dreams. Never narrate your limitations. Words are architects. Winners use them with precision. They don't say, if I succeed, they say, when I succeed. They don't ask, can I? They declare, watch me. That's not ego. That's alignment with truth. And the truth is this: you are powerful beyond measure. You have the divine ability to reshape your reality, not through fantasy, but through focus, not through luck, but through labor. Your life is clay, and your actions are the sculptor's hands. What you become is what you build, and what you build begins with how you behave before the structure even exists. So act like a winner before you are one, not to impress the world, but to impress it upon your subconscious. Because once you believe, the battle is halfway won, and belief is built through repetition, through discipline, through daily, deliberate alignment. You want to be rich? Start acting rich in your habits. You want to be fit? Move like your body already knows health. You want to lead? Speak like someone worthy of being followed. There is no when I get there. There is only I choose now. Winners don't postpone transformation. They embody it today. They make the vision so real in the present that time has no choice but to catch up. And when people question you because they will remember this, your vision wasn't given to them. They don't have to see it. You do. When they laugh, when they scoff, when they try to measure you by your current circumstances, let them. You're not living for applause, you're living for alignment. You're not performing, you're becoming. And those who mock you now will study you later. Keep your head high, shoulders back, eyes locked forward. You're not here to blend in, you're here to break patterns, to raise standards, to rewrite stories. Mediocrity is crowded. Greatness is lonely. That's the price. But oh, the reward. Not just in status or success, but in soul. Because when you finally arrive at the destination you once imagined, and you realize you became the kind of person who could live there, that is the real win. This isn't about pretending, this is about prophesying. Declaring through your actions that you are no longer a servant to your past. You are no longer a victim of circumstance. You are the architect now. You are the one who decides how this story ends. And you start writing it not when conditions are perfect, but when your courage outweighs your excuses. Winners live with urgency, not panic, but presence. They understand that time is not infinite, and so every moment is sacred. Every hour has weight. They don't kill time, they build with it. They don't procrastinate, they execute. They don't need motivation every morning, they have mission. Purpose is the engine that gets them out of bed when comfort whispers, stay. And their purpose isn't always glamorous. It doesn't always feel good, but it's always clear. Winners don't chase passion, they bring passion to whatever they touch. Whether it's a small task or a big opportunity, they treat it with excellence. Because they know how you do anything is how you do everything. And small wins compound. Excellence attracts elevation. So stop waiting to feel like it. Stop waiting for signs. You are the signal. Your actions are the proof. And if you're still breathing, you're not finished. You've still got something to give. Something to become. A chapter to write that will echo long after you're gone. So show up like it's already done. Walk like the weight has already lifted. Speak like your breakthrough is inevitable. Act like a winner every single day until it's no longer an act. It's just who you are. Because there's a sacred shift that happens the moment you stop asking for proof and start acting from belief. When you cross that invisible line between someday and right now, when you stop waiting to feel confident and start leading with courage, that's when the universe tilts. That's when the doors that once seemed locked swing open, not because they changed, but because you did. And not everyone will understand. Some will say, you've changed. And you must look them in the eye and say, exactly. Because elevation demands evolution. You cannot rise and remain the same. You cannot grow and still cling to comfort. You cannot step into destiny while dragging your doubt. Winners let go. They release the weight of who they were to become who they must. Do you think the eagle consults the chickens before it takes flight? No, it stretches its wings and rises. Not because it's better, but because it's built different. And so are you. You weren't made for average. You weren't made to settle. You were built with a brilliance the world desperately needs, but only if you stop dimming your light to make others comfortable. So shine fully, boldly, unapologetically. Speak like your voice was sent to heal. Move like your feet were meant to tread paths no one else dared touch. Stand like your spine was forged in fire, because it was. All your pain, all your pressure, all your setbacks, they were not punishments. They were preparation. Every delay, every rejection, every detour, it didn't disqualify you. It developed you. That's what winners understand. They know that life is not happening to them, it's happening for them. They find purpose in the process. They find strength in the stretch. They don't resent the challenge, they respect it. Because pressure creates diamonds, fire forges steel, and struggle sculpts strength that ease could never produce. So if you're in a season of pressure, of stretching, of fire good, you're in the gym of greatness, you're being built for more. But don't wait for the season to end to act like you're ready. Show up now as the leader, the champion, the force you're destined to become. Your future self is not waiting for comfort, it's waiting for commitment. And that commitment must run deep. It must be rooted in identity, not hype. Because hype fades, motivation fades. But identity fuels behavior in the darkest of nights, when no one is watching, when the applause is gone, when the bank account is low and the path is foggy. Winners still show up. Not because it's easy, not because they feel like it, but because it's who they are. And the moment you decide, truly decide that this is who you are, everything changes. Decision is power. It's the ignition switch of destiny. When you decide to act like a winner, to speak with power, to move with intention, your life begins to reorganize around that decision. The people shift, the opportunities shift, the outcomes shift. But it won't happen overnight. It's not a microwave. It's a forge. It takes repetition, rehearsal, discipline, and the humility to keep showing up even when the results lag behind the effort. Because every day you act like a winner before the world sees it, you're carving that identity into your bones. Until one day you wake up and realize it's no longer something you're trying to be. It's who you are. And on that day, you'll understand what it was all for. You'll look back and thank every trial, every lonely morning, every silent grind, because it was the soil from which you rose. And no one can take that from you. They can't take what you've become. You didn't rent it. You didn't borrow it. You built it. And that's the kind of success that lasts. So if you're asking when to begin, the answer is now. If you're asking who will believe in you, the answer must first be you. And if you're asking how long it will take, understand this. Winners don't count the time. They count the cost. They decide it's worth it, and then they move. Step by step, day by day, word by word. Act like a winner in every room, even if they don't know your name, even if you're the least experienced, even if your voice shakes. Because presence speaks louder than credentials. Confidence echoes louder than doubt. And your energy, your grounded, unwavering, conviction-driven energy will announce you long before your resume ever does. So let them underestimate you. Let them misread your silence. Let them mock your beginning, but never let them outbelieve you. Never let them outdiscipline you. Never let them outlast you. Because when you walk like you belong, the ground shifts beneath your feet, and destiny has no choice but to rise and meet you. Remember, you do not become a winner at the finish line. You become a winner the moment you start behaving like one. Consistently, quietly, boldly before the world ever catches up. This is your call, not a whisper, a roar. Rise up, speak up, show up. Act like a winner, and watch your world rise to meet you. Because life will always test you before it trusts you. It will ask, do you really want this? Are you who you say you are? Can you hold the weight of the crown you keep reaching for? And it won't ask with words, it will ask with storms, with silence, with rejection. It will close doors just to see if you knock again. It will strip applause away just to test if you still perform with excellence in the shadows. And that's when your true identity is revealed. Not in the spotlight, but in the stillness. Not when things go right, but when everything breaks and you choose to rise anyway. Because acting like a winner doesn't mean acting like everything's perfect. It means acting like you're built for the imperfect, like you've already made peace with adversity, like struggle is just another tool sharpening your edge. Don't confuse ease with alignment. The right path rarely feels light in the beginning. It often feels heavy, because it's calling you to carry a version of yourself that you haven't fully grown into yet. And that weight, that pressure is the signal you're being expanded. Winners don't run from it. They don't numb it. They lean in and let it build the bones they'll need to carry their next level. And hear this deeply. You don't need more followers. You need more follow-through. You don't need more likes. You need more grit. Because no amount of external validation will make up for an internal void. And you will never consistently outperform your identity. This is why acting like a winner is not a surface performance. It's a soul posture. It's a contract with your future that you sign daily with your behavior. You rise when you don't feel like it. You show up when the world's not clapping. You speak life when all around you is death. That's the language of champions. They don't live by what they see, they live by what they know. They know the vision is real. They know the seed is planted. They know the harvest is inevitable if they stay in motion. And when they get knocked down, as they will, they don't make it a story. They make it a stepping stone. They don't ask why me, they ask what's next. They don't let setbacks become identities. They let them become ingredients. Because winners understand that failure is feedback. Pain is a professor. And every loss contains a lesson that refines the weapon. And yes, it's lonely sometimes. Walking like a winner before the world recognizes you can be isolating. People won't understand. They'll ask why you're so intense, why you don't party like you used to, why you're so serious about your goals. And in those moments, you must choose legacy over approval, destiny over distraction, silence over shallow noise. Because winners are forged in the fire of isolation. It's there when it's just you and the mirror that you decide who you really are. Will you fold or will you fight? Will you retreat or will you rise? Will you wait or will you walk like you already have it? Walk like the call on your life is not negotiable. Speak like your words are designing your next dimension. Move like the victory has already been assigned to you, and your job is simply to meet it with integrity, with excellence, and with the full weight of your commitment. You were not put here to play small. You were not born to just survive. You were built for victory. You were designed to rise. But you must act in alignment with that truth, not when it's convenient every day, before you are seen, before you are paid, before you are celebrated. Because life will give to you what you demand from it, not what you beg for, not what you wish for, but what you expect through your posture, through your persistence, through the quiet, unshakable decision to keep acting like a winner until the day that reality has no choice but to agree. And that day will come, not because you were lucky, but because you were ready. Because readiness is not a result of conditions, it is the result of conditioning. You don't become ready by waiting for the world to slow down and accommodate you. You become ready by preparing in obscurity, by training in silence, by practicing excellence when mediocrity would be easier. Readiness is a decision, not a destination. It is the product of choosing to act in alignment with your vision, even when the evidence hasn't caught up yet. Acting like a winner before you are one is not pretending, it's preparing. It's priming your nervous system to get familiar with the feeling of greatness, so when it arrives, it doesn't feel foreign, it feels earned. You've already lived this moment 1,000 times in your discipline, in your belief, in your words, in your relentless action. So when it comes, you don't flinch, you nod, because you've been here before in the spirit. And now the world is simply catching up to what you've already claimed. But that requires faith, not the kind of faith that sits and waits, the kind that walks with fire in its eyes, the kind of faith that puts on the suit before the job, that sharpens the sword before the war. That shows up in the rain because it knows the sun will shine again. Faith is not passive, it is not idle, it is movement, it is motion. It is stepping into the unknown with confidence because you know who you are even when nothing around you reflects it yet. And listen carefully. If you wait to feel like a winner to act like one, you'll wait forever. Because feelings are fickle, emotions come and go. But identity, that's what anchors you. That's what steadies your hands when the storm hits. That's what drives you when there's no applause, no validation, and no visible results. Identity says, this is what I do. This is who I am. This is how I move, regardless of outcome. And when you start operating from that place, when you stop reacting to life and start commanding it, you change the game. You flip the script. You start creating momentum. Not just for you, but for everyone around you. Because when you rise, others see what's possible. When you walk like a winner, you give people permission to raise their standard. Your life becomes a message, a lighthouse, a statement of what's possible when belief meets behavior. So act with purpose, speak with authority, move with precision. Every step, every breath, every word is either building the future or betraying it. There is no neutral. You're either feeding the winner within you, or you're starving it with every excuse, every compromise, every delay. Acting like a winner means taking responsibility for the energy you bring into every space. It means owning your role as the leader of your own life. It means eliminating blame and embracing power. Because you can't act like a winner and play the victim at the same time. You can't rise while clinging to the comfort of excuses. You can't lead while leaking your energy into things that don't align with your vision. This is the real work, the internal war, the decision to live from your future, not your fears, the discipline to speak life when your world feels lifeless, the courage to declare, I am already becoming, even when your bank account, your mirror, or your circumstances try to argue otherwise. Act like a winner in your posture, in your habits, in your discipline. Winners don't snooze their destiny. They wake up with intention. They don't scroll through distraction. They feed their minds. They don't hope for motivation. They generate it. And if they fall, they rise faster. Because recovery is part of their identity too. You are not faking it. You are forging it. Every rep, every choice, every step is sculpting the future. And one day soon you'll step into a room and it will be undeniable. The energy will precede your presence. People won't just see the change, they'll feel it. Because you've been acting like this version of you for so long, it has finally become your reality. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. And because you understood this truth. You don't wait to be a winner to act like one. You act like one until the world has no choice but to agree. And when that day arrives, when the life you imagine greets you with open arms, when the doors swing wide and the world calls your name, remember this. It wasn't chance. It wasn't luck. It was the daily decision to walk like the outcome was already yours, to act in faith when logic told you to quit, to carry yourself with royalty before the crown ever touched your head. Because that's what separates the few from the many. The many wait to be chosen. The few choose themselves. The many wait for the feeling. The few move with conviction. The many watch the clock. The few become the moment. And now it's your moment. No more doubting. No more hiding. No more asking for signs. You've had the signal all along. It's been beating in your chest since the beginning. So rise. Not tomorrow. Now. Stand up with fire in your soul and steel in your spine. Speak like your voice was carved to move mountains. Walk like the world bends to your decisions. Own your energy. Own your greatness. Own your future. Because it's already yours. You just have to act like it. Act like a winner before you are won. And you'll never go back to anything less.